Up Rapids! Welcome to the first ever episode of The Wave. The Wave is a weekly news broadcast about all things that have happened recently. From students to faculty to real world news, we got you covered on everything you need to know. Last Friday, we talked to Coach Blazer before the game about his predictions and thoughts on the team. Okay, so who are we playing tonight?
We're playing Cosby High School here at James River High School.
And what is the theme for the game tonight, and how did they come up with the theme?
The theme tonight is a blazer out, which I think is a pun, but everyone can wear their sports jackets, and I tend to dress up for the game, so with my last name, I think it's kind of just a pun altogether there.
Are we projected to win tonight?
We beat them earlier this season, but it's a rivalry game, so it's always a really competitive game. And we expect it to be a battle, but we always expect to win. We never go in thinking we're going to lose. So, we're excited for tonight, and I think we'll play really well.
And how has our season been so far this year?
Season's been going well. We lost a couple games early, but we're 8-5. We're positioning, trying to get the number 1 seed in our half of the region. Us, Thomasdale, and Cosby are all really close together right now. So we're in good position, and hopefully we can get to 9-5 after tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Our speech and debate teams have just closed off their season. Here are speech coach Mrs. Sanchez talking about the season, and Stephen Hall, who will talk about the last tournament. How did the season go overall?
It's probably our best season yet. So we have won first place at every tournament that we could win first place at, except for George Mason. But that was still a success because it's such a huge tournament. And almost everybody proceeded to the out rounds, which is a huge deal.
How did you feel about your students' performance throughout the season?
Again, it's the best season yet. They killed it. They're loyal, they're dedicated, they practice what I expect them to practice. And there's always a weird result here and there, but as far as their own performances every single Saturday, they could not have done any better.
Okay. What type of events does speech participate in?
So there are 10 speech events. Some of them are interpretation, and it's more like acting and making the story come alive, and some of them are more traditional speaking. So you have poetry and prose that are in a black book, where they kind of read it and make it come alive. There's humorous interpretation and dramatic interpretation, where one is funny and one is serious, and it's memorized, and they have to play all the characters. There's oratory, which is very similar to what you guys write in 9th and 10th grade for persuasive writing, where somebody researches a topic they're really interested in and memorizes and delivers that. And then there's impromptu and extemp, and those are limited prep events where they get their topic that day and have to speak on that. And there's also duo interpretation, serious and comedic, which is all the same things but 2 kids. And then storytelling, where you have to recreate a children's story.
Did any of your students stand out to you talent-wise that you think will go farther?
The kids that this year we created, based on our results from last year, we created an elite team, sort of a select team, and those are the kids that we've been taking to George Mason University's tournament and Broad Run's tournament. And so I have about 10 kids that are the elite in the top, and I expect them to go really far in the state level too.
What were some of the highlights of the season?
So the loyal kids, the new kids, because the team grew up so much really, really fast. And I didn't have time to work with the new kids, but they stuck around and figured it out on their own. I was really, really proud of that. And then also the George Mason team, the fact that so many of them, the overwhelming majority of them, went above and beyond and broke for the out rounds, and the fact that at Broad Run we won the tournament champions, not just speech, but also the overall tournament champions, because Maddie Boger got first place in LD. They continue to surprise me. So all of that.
Are you in speech or debate?
I'm in speech.
Okay. How did the tournament last weekend go?
Good. Very well.
What events did you participate in?
Humorous interpretation.
What did you talk about in that?
I get a script that's published online, and I just make it funny. That's all I have to do.
What did you place in your event?
I got 3rd out of 12 people.
And how did our school rank?
We won first in speech and debate.
Thank you.
Nice.
For our news section of this week's broadcast, we bring you news that has left America and the world in shock. On Sunday, January 26th, basketball player Kobe Bryant was killed in a horrific helicopter crash along with his daughter Gianna. Many are mourning this loss. He was very inspirational and adored by many throughout the world. He did many things outside of his amazing basketball career. With his wife Vanessa, he created the Kobe and Vanessa Bryant Family Foundation, which helps improve lives of children and families by providing financial help and programs to promote communities with educational and cultural opportunities. Bryant played for the Lakers for 20 seasons and won 5 NBA national championships. His wife and him have 4 beautiful daughters. Gianna was with him during the accident and passed away as well. The family and everyone who knew or admired Kobe Bryant are grieving this loss. To end on a high note, we have some exciting news about a teacher at our school. Recently, James River's very own Ms. Gahagan received the prestigious honor of becoming one of 2 teachers in all of Chesterfield County to be inducted into the National Board and acquired her certification. Here's Ms. Gahagan speaking on the process and what the award means to her. If you see Ms. Gahagan in the halls, make sure to congratulate her. How long did it take you to complete your application?
So the application for National Board is relatively simple because anybody who's been teaching for like a minimum of 3 years can apply to do the National Board. So that wasn't the hard one. The actual certification process for me took a year. Most people do in about 2 though.
Okay. What kind of work did you have to do for your certification?
So for each component, there were different things that I had to do. So for the first component, I had to show growth within a lesson. So we did figure drawing, and I showed growth in proportions and like the process, creative process in making the artwork. For one of the lessons I had to show, I had to film like 2 totally different lessons to show that I like had classroom management skills and was equitable in my classroom and I could effectively teach everyone. And they wanted like 2 different kinds of instructions for that. And then the last one, the 4th component, was how I assessed work mostly. So looking at how to properly plan a lesson based on like students' previous work. So that was with AP Art History, and we did, what did we do? We went to the VMFA for a field trip to explore African art deeper, and then did a project associated with that to really assess learning. So, yeah.
Okay. How hard is it to earn this certification?
My understanding is relatively difficult. It was definitely difficult for me because it was a lot of work. I think only 3% of teachers in America have National Board certification, if I remember correctly. So it was pretty strenuous. It was a lot of work.
Just how special is your award to you?
It's very special. It makes me feel a lot more confident in what I'm teaching and the impact that I have on my students, and just knowing that I am an effective teacher in the classroom. Sometimes teachers need that confidence boost too. So.
What do you plan on doing with your certification?
I have a lot of ideas. So far I've used it to really assess and reflect on my teaching practice, to know like the areas that I can grow and the areas that I can be more effective as a teacher. So that's been really helpful, having like that knowledge from the process. So I think I'll just continue to grow as a teacher, as an educator, and as a person by doing that. So
this is the last question.
Okay.
Would you recommend applying for this certification to other teachers?
I would. I would also tell other teachers that it's a lot of work and they should anticipate spending a ton of time working on it, but it is rewarding in the end. I do feel like I came out as a better teacher. I cried a lot. It's like the truth. Like, if I'm gonna be really honest about it, like I cried so much, like in the art storage closet, in my classroom, in front of my students. Like it was really stressful, but like at the end I think it was worth it. But I mean, that's who I am as a person, so I'm not gonna pretend I'm not. So
Well, I think you're a great teacher. Well, thank
Cool.
you.
Thanks, y'all.
Thank you for tuning in. This week's episode is brought to you by yearbook students Monroe Hill, Vincent Benedetti, and Eleanor Pound. Please contact us if you have anything you would like to be featured in an episode of The Wave. Have a great week, Rapids!
Weezy out of here.